Dr. Vera Luiza da Costa Silva from the WHO Framework Convention on Tobacco Control joins us in studio. Dr. Vera, thank you very much for coming in this morning. First of all, what has the impact of the FCTC been since its inception?
The number of countries currently making part of the treaty are 181. And this means that this is one of the UN treaties that has a bigger number of countries and that was more quickly embraced by the countries themselves. The impact has been recently measured, and the treaty really makes a difference at country level. And the countries that have implemented the bigger number of measures are the ones that have presentiated a dramatic reduction in the tobacco prevalence. So that means that the treaty is saving lives.
So how do you plan to bring more big countries on board? What else needs to be done?
Smoke-free places, pictorial health warnings, treatment of tobacco dependence, regulation of the product, education, communication. So as we, and the ban on tobacco advertising, promotion and sponsorship, as we advance in these areas, the immediate areas that come to the attention of the governments are the supply reduction measures. So addressing the illicit trade in tobacco products, the parties to the treaty have negotiated a protocol to eliminate illicit trade in tobacco products, and this is an area where international collaboration is key.
This week, are there any challenges that are unique to the African continent that have been highlighted, and how does the Convention Secretariat plan to meet these challenges?
The African continent is doing a big piece of work in terms of passing strong legislations in line with the Framework Convention on Tobacco Control. We have very good examples of countries in this region who have passed pictorial health warnings, banning smoking in public places, prohibited advertisement of tobacco products. It's very important that the prices increases are being sort of implemented much more, and the revenues, or a portion of these revenues, is dedicated for public health measures and is dedicated for alternative livelihoods in tobacco growing. So this is a way where the African continent can raise not only the profile of the implementation of the treaty, but also link the increase in taxes and prices of tobacco products to increasing revenues and to promote development. We know that tobacco is associated with poverty, and the implementation of the treaty is associated with sustainable development.
Okay, so sustainable development goals finally obviously sounds very important to you, but you also focus on the importance of women and tobacco control. How have you been achieving this?
The treaty gives a big attention to the vulnerable populations and the gender-sensitive approaches. Particularly, we address gender equity aspects. There are countries where males smoke predominantly or use tobacco predominantly, and this is the case of some countries where there is a very high proportion of smokers among males, with the consequence death toll that is related to tobacco use.
Dr. da Costa Silva, thank you so much for your time this morning, and enjoy what's left of the conference.
Okay, thank you very much.